Hey! Maji!
I'm Jayden Ojeda, and this weekend will be my debut in the Supercars Championship Bathurst 1000. So this weekend will be my first time racing in a supercar at Bathurst. Coming into the event, deal with Garry Rogers kind of came about very last minute and kind of got wind of it probably 2 weeks before the event. There was a lot of work that had to go in to get me over the line, to get the deal happening. I'd probably say there wasn't too much time for me to think about what the event was and the stature of the event. Obviously it was just trying to get to the end goal of getting myself into the car. So coming to the track now and obviously seeing your name on the pit lane definitely is a little bit surreal and fills you with a little bit of nerves.
Walk into the Super paddock, start the first one. Calm, after a little bit, checked the medical, had some time to cool down. Ran the right suit this time.
Plan for Thursday was just to build up to a build laps, and then Friday came along and obviously had the qualifying in race 1 in Super 2. I think it definitely helped running both classes on Thursday because it just fast-tracked my learning.
For the second time today, he's out of business at the cutting. He had a moment in practice for Supercars earlier.
Doing really well up until the last lap of the Super 2 race where I unfortunately came a little bit unstuck and touched the wall, but overall still probably I would have finished 5th in that race after a tricky start and showed really good pace. In the supercar obviously I had what they call I think a 20G impact into the wall at the cutting, which is a decent sized shunt, so they make you do a concussion test, which I guess you see a lot in the NRL when they take a knock to the head, they have to go off for an assessment.
I was like, as long as I stand on this one leg and they put one leg down, like eyes closed, like I'm fine. So you balance all over the place, and then I try to get you to remember words, and mate, you know how bad my memory is. So I was sitting there and like, they get you to memorise 5 letters, and they go, 5 words, and it was like, Kenny something.
My confidence was already kind of knocked down as it does when you do have a little bit of a stumble, but it's really good to have such an experienced team that obviously have brought a lot of young talents into the sport. Both the teams are really nurturing and caring and supportive, and I guess as a young guy you kind of need that. Although it's good to have someone that kind of comes down on you pretty hard, you can't have everyone coming down on you pretty hard, otherwise it does tend to knock your confidence. Yeah, like I said, it was really good having both supportive crews around me to I guess build my confidence back up after a pretty low day on Friday. Going to Saturday, just had to look at it like a new day really, but I guess it's a little bit difficult, but after I did a few laps in the supercar in the morning, it was I guess good to have a somewhat gracious start, a slow start to the day. It was my first time out since Friday's heroics, and have the greatest of days and slept on it and beat myself up about it to say the least, but yeah, it was good to obviously get out there in the GRM car, bump up some laps. Good to kind of build up into the day and then obviously go out for qualifying in Super 2 and then obviously go out for the race in Super 2 and get a really good result and come home second. So I couldn't help but still feel a little bit annoyed with myself after Friday's result, so I feel like I couldn't properly enjoy it, though I felt like I was redeeming myself somewhat. It did still feel like there was still a little bit left to be desired. Yeah, it was an interesting whole little weekend. Obviously during that race then, that was unreal. Obviously kind of fight back and get back into second was cool. It was definitely a highlight to kind of come back from yesterday's demise. To rebound like that is a great feeling, so I'm really pleased with that. Come back and get second place again in that last race is an incredible feeling. Ultimately it was a really good way to, I guess, round out a weekend that could have obviously gone from bad to worse. Going into the 1000, obviously Tyler was to start the car, obviously starting from P24. Managed to get a good clean start, kind of stay out of everyone's way, and my first stint it was cool. Like obviously you don't normally get to spend obviously 40 laps. It was really cool. I did make mention on the radio of how surreal this was.
Nice conditions out there at the moment, Mark. The temperature's 16 degrees, it's a light breeze from the southwest.
Yeah, I was feeling good, feeling comfortable. Like I said, I managed to get myself into a nice little groove every time I was in the car. Then we had a safety car, which obviously compresses the field yet again. Had some quick cars behind me. Come the restart and they put me under a little bit of pressure, which probably just forced my hand into a little bit of a mistake coming out of the chase.
Troubles now for car number 40, unfortunately. Jayden Ojeda limping back into the pit lane with a lot of damage on the front left corner of that car.
Thought that was kind of the end of the race for us, seeing the damage to the car, but in terms of how much damage there was, I was very surprised. Those boys there, like I said, they've got a lot of experience. Some of them had 30, 40 years of experience in supercars, so definitely showed in an environment like that when obviously it comes in and pressure's on. They all managed to stay really, really calm. No one was getting stressed, no one was throwing stuff around, and they just focused on the job at hand and managed to get the car fixed, and it was impressive to say the least. Managed to get the car back out to classify as a finisher by 1 lap, which was pretty close, so that was obviously again massive remark to those boys at GRM. They managed to get that thing fixed so quickly. Great sign of relief, because it means that everything we did do and everything the team was done wasn't to not be classified as a finisher and show as a DNF on the result. It was to, I guess, show up as a finisher and 19th, so up 6 places, but obviously we were running I think about 15th, 14th by the time before I had my incident. So
courage and supreme skill to succeed at Bathurst. The desire to win must be greater than the fear of losing. This is the 2020 Supercheap Auto Bathurst 1000.
That's pretty cool. Got the 120 on the button.
Correct.
Yeah.
When I had to get it out, that was like the number. Yeah. 10 seconds.
It was like an hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah, 40 on that. Far out. 2 or 40 something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, 40.
what I've learnt, the 1000 is very hard, and they can't take that away from anyone that finishes that race. It's the hardest race I've ever done, and I'm sure a lot of people can say that as well. So doubling up with the double duties, definitely see it's positive and negatives. Massive positive obviously is you're getting a lot of track time, a lot of experience, you're racking up the laps. Negatives, obviously you're running around a little bit like a headless chicken at sometimes. Like I said, I think overall I was really grateful to do both Super 2 and Supercars, and if I had the opportunity again I'd definitely jump at it, would not turn that one down.